It's my great pleasure to speak for a few minutes to you, dear beloved servants of Jehovah. As you well know, we've been dealing with the effects of this pandemic for a long time. Are you tired of wearing a mask? Tired of physical distancing? No doubt you miss getting together in person. Because this is lasting so long, it may be tempting to lower your guard and ease up on the precautions we've been taking. But as you're probably aware, case numbers have risen sharply in one country after another. In fact, case numbers and deaths worldwide are higher than they have ever been at any point during the pandemic. This is not a time to let down our guard. Proverbs 28:14 says, "Happy is the man who is always on guard, but whoever hardens his heart will fall into calamity." If we're always on guard like a watchman at his post, that can help us avoid the calamity. In this update, we'd like to discuss why we need to stay safe and how we can do so. And we'll hear some experiences that highlight the benefits of keeping on guard. First, let's talk about why we need to protect ourselves and others. As the months have gone by, if we or our family have not contracted COVID-19, it can be easy to think, my family and I won't get the virus. The Bible warns us, though, about being overconfident. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12 says, "So let the one who thinks he is standing beware that he does not fall." In line with that principle, rather than being overconfident when it comes to our safety and thinking it can't happen to me, we have good reason to beware and remain cautious. Sadly, as of December 20th, more than 7,500 of our brothers and sisters worldwide have died from COVID-19. Our hearts go out to those who have lost dear family members and friends. And unfortunately, the tragic effects of this pandemic are not over. Some branches have reported 2 to 3 times more cases among the brothers in just the last month than they've had this entire year. So we need to stay safe. In the following video, note how Brother Peter Canning from the Croatia branch explains how vigilance is helping our brothers stay as safe as possible.
At the beginning of June, life in Croatia seemed to be getting back to normal. Some days there were no new reported cases of the virus in the entire country. So businesses and restaurants reopened, and tourists flooded back into Croatia. Some brothers wondered, can we restart certain activities such as public witnessing? Well, shortly after that, as a safety precaution, the governing body directed all branches not to resume public witnessing until further notice. At first, this level of caution was not easy to understand, as conditions seemed relatively safe for public witnessing. But what a wise decision it proved to be. Within weeks, the number of cases in Croatia began to rise, and now there are thousands being infected every day. Our experience has made us even more determined to pay close attention to the direction coming from the organization and be ready to follow it, We cannot let our guard down.
As Brother Canning said, we should not let down our guard. So what will help us stay safe? Well, back in June, in Governing Body Update number 4, Brother Morris stated 3 key principles to serve as a guide. It was good advice then. And with the infection rates rising, it's really good advice now. Let's review those principles. Number 1, place a high value on life. Although the precautions you are taking may be inconvenient, remember, they protect you and your family's lives. Number 2, listen to the authorities. When we follow their safety guidelines, we show respect for Jehovah's arrangement and demonstrate that we really care about our neighbors. Number 3, do not develop a casual attitude. As this situation stretches on, please don't lower your guard. Those are 3 excellent principles. But now, here's a question to ask yourself. Do my decisions show that I place a high value on life, listen to the authorities, and have not developed a casual attitude? Whatever decisions you make, consider this. Your decisions affect not just yourself, but your household, your brothers and sisters, and your community. That's a sobering thought, isn't it? As you consider how you and your family will handle activities in the coming months, we urge you to keep following the basic safety guidelines. Remember how COVID-19 is spread and what you can do to protect yourself. Here's a brief overview. Health experts agree that the main way the virus spreads is through the air. So when someone infected coughs, sneezes, speaks, or even breathes, they can spread the virus. Even if someone infected with a virus doesn't have symptoms, he or she can still spread the virus to others. There's an even higher risk if we're in close contact with others, in crowded places, or indoors. One of the best ways to prevent the spread of COVID-19 is to wear a mask and maintain physical distancing. To review other precautions you can take to protect yourself, we've created a new whiteboard animation entitled Virus Outbreaks: What You Can Do. This video is now available in English on jw.org and will be available in other languages soon. Please take the time to watch it. No doubt you'd agree that it takes effort to remain vigilant. But how can that benefit us? Do you recall what we read earlier in Proverbs 28:14? Happy is the man who is always on guard. In this video interview, notice how Sister Louise Slender, who is a remote volunteer with a remote translation office in the United States, has benefited by remaining on guard. You'll also see the tragic impact that COVID-19 has had on her non-witness relatives.
I live on the Navajo land. a place called Tuba City, Arizona. When it came, the pandemic, I thought we were so isolated that it was not going to happen here in Tuba City. It affected my family a lot. First wave, we lost 15. And then after that, some were hospitalized. And then up to today, I have lost 35. And still, some are still sick and hospitalized. It makes me really sad because it's really a serious thing. So right now, my household is just a 3, and anybody outside the household could be a risk. It's very difficult because you're used to being around them for years and years, and all of a sudden this happens, and I have to look at it that anybody can be positive or anybody can have it. So I just keep my distance. I don't want to get sick. I just precaution, That's what we're out of Jehovah's Word, what I read, we're clean people, we're Jehovah's people, so we have to be clean. We wear masks and we wash our hands and wipe everything that comes into the house, even mail. COVID is very serious, a pandemic that takes your loved ones, people you love, and it's so sad. And it has taken many beautiful people, like my relative. They're very knowledgeable. They do craft, they do work, they have houses, and now you see if their tools are left behind, nobody to pick up their fields. They didn't even put a seed in. They just prepared it, but never put a seed in. Their homes, their transportation, just sitting there now. So all the warnings that they put out are really true warnings, and very important that we follow it.
Our hearts go out to Sister Slender and her family. Doesn't her experience illustrate the benefits of staying on guard? What a protection following direction has been for Sister Slender, her husband, and her son. So in review, what have we discussed? Now is not the time to slacken our hand when it comes to safety. Don't let your guard down. Don't think the virus can't affect you or your family. Even with the best of efforts, some of you may still get sick. Our prayers are with you and your families. We long for the day when Jehovah fulfills His promise that no one will say, "I am sick." Please stay safe. Stay connected to your congregation. And above all, stay close to Jehovah. With Jehovah's help, we're sure that you can cope with any challenge you face. It's my privilege to share with you the warm greetings of the governing body. We love you all very much. From the world headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses, this is JW Broadcasting.